Ladies and gentlemen, this is a privilege for me to be here to celebrate the Indian Thoughts Festival. In fact, the entire world is already celebrating and enjoying the festivals of Indian thought for so many years, or we can say for millennia. India has enlightened the world, and India has enriched the world in the past, and it is still continuing enriching and enlightening the world in various ways, particularly through thoughts, views, and wisdom. As Sri Ram Madhavji was very aptly saying about introducing the Indian culture, he laid down the foundation for this kind of discussions and deliberations. India has such a rich tradition of different philosophical thoughts and religious systems which organically grew up. But the wonderful thing about the Indian philosophical thought streams and traditions is that they did not develop in isolation, but they developed interacting each other, benefiting each other, learning from each other. That is why we have such a rich tradition of interaction that never took place in other parts of the world. We can say that Indian philosophical thought tradition, the wisdom tradition, they have many common threads, many commonalities. Of course, they are grown up in the same cultural ground, and also in terms of a philosophical venture, you can see, unlike the philosophical thoughts grown outside India, the Indian philosophical thoughts have so many commonalities and common bases. Just as Swamiji was presenting the relative truths and ultimate truths and things like that, because all of the Indian thoughts were basically venturing to find out the ultimate and perpetual happiness. And in order to reach and obtain the perpetual and for everlasting happiness, we need to find the ultimate truth. All of the schools equally believe in that, and that is one of the reasons that all of the schools, philosophical schools, have ventured into this direction. And in order to venture the ultimate truth and developing philosophical systems, we need pramana, tarka, logic, epistemology, logic systems, tarka shastras, because these are the laboratories, these are the instruments through which we can reach the ultimate truth. Swamiji was telling about the different causes and the causes and effects, causalities, the relation between causes and effects and things like that. We have all of these, the Indic philosophical thoughts have such a rich system of epistemology and logic, because we are not looking for any material kind of thing for which we need a laboratory out there, a physical laboratory, but we need the spiritual and the philosophical truth, which has to be ventured through mental approach. So therefore, we need epistemological instruments, we need logic instruments through which we can venture and reach these things. I'm told that I have 15 minutes. I will try to finish. So, the very purpose of the life is, according to Indic system, is happiness and prosperity. As Sri Ram Madhavji very aptly said, prosperity. Now we have to define, Indian system defined prosperity in a very different manner and happiness in a very different manner. For us, the prosperity is not out there. We all know that it is very transcendent, it's very transient. We need something perpetual happiness and perpetual prosperity. So therefore, we don't care about the external prosperity, which are transient, impermanent, may not be there tomorrow while we are enjoying today, but we look for a perpetual prosperity, and that is obtained through internal development. That is why we need Shila, Samadhi, and Prajna. All of these schools have. In Buddhism, we have Trishiksha, Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. In other schools, they don't name it like this in such a category, but all have equally, a very predominant place in their spiritual system and philosophical thoughts, the Shila, the Samadhi, and Prajna. Without Shila, you cannot go to the next level of the Samadhi. How you can attain concentration, achieve that without having good Shila? And without having Samadhi, how you can achieve the Prajna, Jnana? There's no way. So therefore, these are the systems through which we, have these kind of systems which are available in all of these schools. So India never, that is because of this richness, India attracted in the past countries from all the entire Asia. Almost all of the Asian countries have embraced Buddhism. India never conquered others or invaded or, for propagating India's thought, but it attracted, people just got attracted and took the wisdom from India and disseminated in their respective countries. Because that is out of their interest, still they are surviving in all of those countries, even if they are sometimes suppressed. Now in the modern age, it is being received by the scientists, by social scientists, by philosophers, by intellectuals, by medical scientists. So India is being embraced, being received, and it attracts people from all over the world and is very deeply respected. So India never, as I said, never invaded others. In its history, we have this greatness, because the very concept of invasion is very different. India concentrated on, invading and victory on oneself. If you win yourself, fighting with your negativities and attain Nishrayas, Mukti, Moksha, that is the victory. That is the real victory. The trivial victory is actually not a victory, but the opposite. So therefore, there are so many fundamental differences in the outlook of what is prosperity, what is victory, what is invasion. So that is one of the reasons that India has such a simple way of life, which itself is a manifestation of the richness of the inner world. India always paid attention in enriching the inner world rather than the external material world. That is the beauty of the Indian civilization, and that is the richness of the Indian civilization, which is being recognized these days even by the most so-called, the modern and the most updated and most advanced modern systems and people belonging to those systems. In Indian tradition, and particularly according to Buddhist tradition, the path is transformation. As Swamiji said, it's a transformation. To transform yourself, and then the happiness comes. For example, just a very simple example, when we have hatred, anger, then we get agitated, become disturbed. So what is the best antidote for that? The best antidote is not to go to vacation, not to utilize some kind of drugs and something like that, but to meditate and apply the antidote of those negativities, and then just conquer these negativities, dispel them. It is in our hand. That is the richness, and that is the Indian civilization that India has given to the entire world, which is still being appreciated and celebrated. So Indian Thoughts Festival is a symbol, I think, which is a very good idea to be celebrated, but in fact it is being celebrated throughout the world, and we must facilitate those people who are anxious to celebrate and and take it further for the benefit of humanity. I'm very thankful to Shri Ram Madhavji and the organizers for giving me this opportunity. So I hope that the message will go to the entire world, and the India's civilization will certainly, as in the past and as it is doing, will further flourish for the benefit of humanity. Thank you very much.